Now I'm the webinar will start in 2 minutes. Our participants are joining. We are ready to start, Ms. Mochichi.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ntori Seng Mutsitsi. I am the Executive Manager in the Office of the Public Protector South Africa. I'm standing in for the Public Protector Advocate, Kollega Galega. Welcome to the webinar. The theme, which is very important to all of us, or most of us really, it is a touchy theme. And the objective of this webinar, as we all know, I hope you all received the documentation, the requisite documentation. The objective of this webinar is to highlight the role, functions, and best practices of children ombudsman officers. And these offices will serve as a platform for knowledge exchange on how these institutions for children's rights should investigate complaints and influence policy changes to foster a safer and more equitable environment for children. As we all know, many countries, many communities are grappling with issues that are affecting children. And now we are dealing from people who cannot really say their say, have their say, stand for their rights. Some of them, they don't even understand what's happening. We deal with issues of children trafficking, child trafficking. We deal with children who are affected by statelessness in many countries. We are dealing with issues of children who are not receiving what is necessary for them to survive from birth, schooling, until they get to a stage where they can work and be able to generate income and live fruitful lives. So this is a touchy topic. It affects many people. And I know that these discussions will enrich us so that many countries, many institutions, and various institutions can see the importance that if you do it right at the beginning, at very early stage of birth, we can get it right for our children to be the leaders of this country. However, if we get it wrong right from the beginning, we will never get it right. We'll end up with so many issues in the country where we will have leaderless countries. And we have our facilitator here. I'm just here as on behalf of the Public Protector, the President of AORC, to welcome everybody to this important webinar where we will exchange ideas, make sure that we enrich each other, make sure that we look even at other court decisions that have impacted and affected the children positively and negatively. And we can come up with recommendations, if any, that can assist all the institutions to manage children. Yes, there are institutions that are there, but the effect, the impact, are there positive or negative, whether we see any results, we still don't know. But many countries are trying, many governments are trying, but we can do better. I want to welcome the facilitator for the webinar, Honorable Major General Oswald D. Reddy, who is a certified leader and a life coach and a teacher to facilitate the webinar. Thank you so much. Welcome to the AORC webinar. Thank you.
Thank you for that wonderful welcoming words. I'm sure all our participants feel welcome. Let me say good morning to all our panelists, to the participants, and our organizers. The African Ombudsman Research Center has initiated this very important webinar with a theme showcasing specialized Ombuds Office, Children's Ombudsman. We have a distinguished lineup of honorable speakers who I will introduce a little later. Their impressive profiles have been shared with each of you on the invitation, so I'll just do a high-level overview. There were 414 participants registered for this webinar from 62 countries around the world. And that, once again, as was mentioned during the welcome, confirms the importance of this session and its value on children's rights, and matters relating to children, not only in Africa, but internationally. In terms of process, each of our three speakers will be given 15 minutes to share on specific topics, which I will highlight as we get to them. And we then envisage about 25 minutes for a Q&A session. Hopefully, depending on how the time goes, we'll manage that process. There are currently 19 questions that have already been received by the AORC team. And as I looked at them, they're quite lengthy questions. So depending on the time that we have, we will address a few of them. And those that we are unable to address on the webinar today, responses will be given by each of the panelists, and the AORC team will then circulate them to all the participants. It is now my privilege to introduce our first speaker, Honorable Anita Gura, who is the Ombudsperson for Children in Mauritius. I just want to say a few words about her. Very impressive profile, but she has gone from educator to director of education through to rectorship, and has gradually climbed the ladder and gained experience in all facets of administration, management, monitoring, and evaluation of programs and projects. She is a motivated and resourceful professional with 39 years of experience. I see that she was appointed as the Ombudsperson for Children as from February 2024, so a short period in this position. She is the Ombudsperson for Children in Mauritius. The title of her topic is The Role and Mandate of Children's Ombudsman Officers understanding how these officers advocate for children's rights. The Honorable Anita Gura. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you, Honorable Swal. Dear participants, honorable colleagues from all over the world, you're from 5 continents, so I'll say good morning, good afternoon for some of you, and even good evening to some of you, because you're from the 5 continents. So good morning, salutations to all. Let me start with a presentation, which I'll share as a PowerPoint. Oh. So, as already said by the facilitator, I will talk on the role and mandate of children's ombudspersons in Mauritius, and then understanding how my office advocates for children's rights. In Mauritius, the Office of the Ombudsperson is through a Parliament Act, and the office was established in 2003, so 22 years now that the office exists. The ombudsperson for children, de facto, will have to be a person who has a wide knowledge of the issues and the law relating to children in Mauritius. And the ombudsperson takes oath before the president, as specified in the schedule. The President of the Republic of Mauritius, in consultation with the Prime Minister, the leader of the opposition, and the Minister usually of Family Welfare and Gender Equality, and any such person considered appropriate. The terms and conditions are defined by the President, and we are appointed on a contract basis of 4 years. It is good to know that any ombudsperson can be eligible for reappointment for only a second term of 4 years. So any ombudsperson cannot go beyond an 8-year cycle. If you don't deliver your job well, the president may remove the OC. And also, the OC should be a neutral person, not engaging in any trade, business, any other profession or political activity. Let me now present to you the Republic of Mauritius. Mainland Mauritius, some 2,000 square miles in area, has a population of 1.3 million. And Rodrigues, which is a much more smaller island with 34,000 population, and Agalega still smaller, around 200 persons living there. We move to the objects of the Office of the Ombudsperson for Children. So as shown on the slide, the OC has to ensure the rights, needs, and interests of children are given full consideration by public bodies, private authorities, individuals, and associations, and promote the rights and interests of children, and the compliance also, I'd say, for sure, with the UNCRC and the African Charter. The duties, as highlighted in my slide, mostly advise the Minister on public and private residential placement facilities and shelters established for the benefit of children from vulnerable groups, make proposals to the Minister on legislation, policies, and practices regarding services to and the rights of children, and advise public bodies on the protection and the rights of children. So mostly the one which are practical in this slide, we have to, in the office, to take such steps to ensure the care or supervision of public body are treated properly and adequately. In case they are not, we propose measures to ensure that the legal rights of children in care are protected and that the placement facilities promote the safety of children and conform with such. The main task the daily one is we initiate investigation in all cases where we see that the rights of the children are not being respected. Investigation cases relate usually to children I mentioned from vulnerable groups, but also abandoned children, street children, and children in the school context with bullying, harassment, and cyberbullying, etc. And it can be a reported or a suspected case of child labor. It's good to note that this office investigates cases concerning a child who is a citizen of Mauritius and who may be abroad at the time of the investigation, or a child who is not a citizen of Mauritius but who is residing in Mauritius. After the investigations are carried out, later I'll talk about how we go about. Then we see from the different investigations carried out how we can advise the Minister on the establishment of mechanisms, advise on the creation of partnerships with parents, teachers, NGOs, local authorities, and any stakeholder committed in the promotion of children's rights. Let me now give you an idea of the staff of the Office of the Ombudsperson. So myself, appointed since 1 year as facilitator mentioned. We have a secretary to office looking after the administrative parts, but also giving us a helping hand when needed in our task. We have 5 investigators, 1 finance officer, a procurement and supply officer, the support staff, and ancillary staff, as well as a driver. The main processes involved in investigations, the complaints can be received in person, by way of letter, through email, or we read in the press and then we take action. If on the press, we can, on any form of media, the press, media, radio, TV, anything, when you see that. Any message forwarded to the office through WhatsApp or anonymous also, or taken on board. We process the case on specific files and on Excel sheets. It is such that updates, monthly updates, can be easily traced out, and continuous follow-up by the investigators, which I monitor closely as well. All cases are guided or escalated to me for guidance as well as a way ahead. How do we go about the procedure? The complaints are recorded. We inquire by carrying out inquiries, write or phone to the ministries, organizations, institutions, NGOs, or whoever concerned, parents, relatives, or neighbors. We also gather information from the Child Development Unit, which is a very important unit which deals with all issues, the executive arm of the ministry, or for cases which are more severe, inquiries carried out by the police and reported to us. It's good to note that after analyzing the reports and the issues, prior to taking decision, all the decisions are based on the best interest of the child. I talk about own motion inquiry now. So I mentioned that you can have a press article or on social media or an anonymous correspondence, or when we visit the residential care institutions, we can see that there are problems going on. General happenings, lately in Mauritius, there was a student who caused suicide. A student was a secondary school student, so we had to start an own motion inquiry to understand what has been going on. It can also be on issues like cyberbullying, etc. Other activities carried out by the Office of the Ombudsperson, monthly sensitization campaigns in citizen advice bureaus, schools, NGOs, any organization which requests for same, or where we go, we feel that we should go in vulnerable areas where you have vulnerable children, advise the parents or the youngsters on subjects which are very pertinent, like sexuality education, drugs sensitization on the rights of children itself. We also celebrate Children's Days, Day of the Girl, the convention, the anniversary of the convention. Last week, we celebrated together with the school the World Down Syndrome Day. And next week, we are going to join hands together with the Association for the Autism to we partner with them to celebrate the World Autism Day, International Day of Autism. We also have network with national, de facto, and international, IOI, AOMA, and then the Francophone AOMF also. In our office, we have taken the initiative since end of last year to set up Jeunes Ambassadeurs des Droits des Enfants, which is a platform which gives gives opportunity to listen to the youth, for the youth, by the youth, on subjects which concern them. Sorry. We also, I mentioned at the very beginning that we have Rodrigues Island, which form part of the Republic of Mauritius. So we have 2 annual missions to Rodrigues, where we carry out sensitization, we meet with people with their complaints, we visit the OCIs, etc. The skills required in my office by the officers are mainly inquiry skills, interpersonal skills. We have to relate with people coming around, and then communication. Analytical skills is very important also, because you need to churn out what is right, wrong. Problem solving, because if you are result oriented, you should know how to solve problem. And I'll stress on empathy, because you should have a lot of empathy with dealing with the cases. The process with respect to the recommendation, when we do visit the residential care institutions, they are mostly surprise visits, either sometimes even in the evening, or we'll be going during the Easter vacation so that we can meet with the kids. We do report back on improvements which these institutions can carry out, work in close collaboration with all the NGOs, and in certain cases, when there are urgent things, we have a special report to His Excellency the President of the Republic of Mauritius. Otherwise, it is one of the main activities is write-up of the annual report, which is handed to His Excellency the President of the Republic on 30th September of each year. And his office forwards same to the National Assembly to table the report. Our financing, the salaries and running costs by the state, an annual sum is granted to us for the holding of workshops and sensitization campaigns, etc. This year, the finance will be based on a program-based budgeting for monitoring and close evaluation of projects. We do have funding by donors, European Union. Sometimes you have embassies or HICOMs funding certain projects also, and partial sponsorship de facto by the international organizations with which you are affiliated. I mentioned the launch of annual report. So each year we invite a whole panoply of officers and stakeholders, ranging from ICOM's ministry, law reform, etc., etc. We do have, for your information, a soft copy which you can consult on the website, which is on this slide.
Honorable Anita, you
Yeah,
have 2 minutes
yeah.
to go.
Yeah, I'll finish in less than 2 minutes, don't worry.
Okay.
So I'll talk about the challenges now. When we deal with the other ministries or police or during our inquiries, we often have delay in reporting back. This is one of our major challenge. We have to send reminders many times. Also, there's a lack of coordination sometimes, and we need to have a coordination mechanism where you have multi-stakeholders. We have limited budget, but I won't go open that. We have to do with what we have. The capacity building and professional development of staff with all the evolving rights of children in our context of a lot of problems with the advancement in technology. We do have to have constant capacity building and professional development. We don't have any monitoring and evaluation by external partners. I think that this is important, so as we know where we stand. Also, we have to identify, we do identify our strengths and weakness by ourselves, but maybe an external partner would help. And lastly, I would say that 22 years now since the setting up of the office, it's time to review its mandate due to emerging contemporary issues. I thank you all for your attention. Merci bien. J'ai terminé.
Thank you so much, Honorable Anita. In summary, I think you did quite an excellent job giving us an overview of your role, responsibilities, functions, duties, and mandate. And I see, our challenges are very similar. The delays, lack of coordination, and reviewing of your mandate. I see your office is 22 years in existence. Maybe if we could just highlight your caseload. I see you only have 5 investigators. Is it possible just to highlight what is your caseload per annum on average?
Yeah, on an annual basis, we have around 400 cases reported to us, okay? And we do with what we have, because we cannot complain also, because we have the Ombudsman in Mauritius. You do have the Ombudsman office, and they are more understaffed than we are. So 400 cases on an annual basis.
Thank you for that. I think the challenges relating to resources are similar around the world. I'm yet to hear of an ombudsperson telling us that they do not have a resource challenge. So we have to do the best we can with what we have. And what came out very clear for me in your entire presentation is that everything must be done in the best interest of the child. And I was also wondering about the issue of child labor. Do you have cases of that nature reported in Mauritius?
Yes, you'll be surprised because more and more you have labor which is imported over here now, because the Mauritian people don't want to do certain jobs. We have immigrants from Bangladesh, Nepal, from Sri Lanka, from Madagascar, which is not far from us. And it is surprising, but it's there. Because when these people come, sometimes they come with their family, because they are lured upon having a good job here, having accommodation, having a lot of money. And that when the kids come, then we do get reports that. And in fact, for your information also, even the US Embassy over here has highlighted that Mauritius should improve upon the issue of child labor, and that it should be because we were reported internationally on that. It is
Okay.
it is surprising, but it does exist. It's sad to say it, but it is here. Not
Thank you.
very
I
many
think
cases,
one
but
last,
even one case is one case of much. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead, please.
last comment, just to establish, do you have coercive powers in terms of your findings on your investigations? Are they binding?
So this is a good question because this creates frustration of the Ombudsperson for Children. We make recommendations, okay, year in and year out, and we are not the executive arm. And since there are a few things which are being repeated year in and year out, but the recommendations are not like put into practice and stays as a recommendation and as a challenge yet. But hopefully, you may be aware that there's since November last year, and hopefully things will move in the good direction.
All right. Thank you so much.
Does that answer your question? Does that
Yes,
answer your
yes, it
question?
does.
No. Yeah.
Yes, it does. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the Honorable Anita Gura, the Ombudsperson for Children in Mauritius. Thank you so much. It is now
Thank you.
my privilege to introduce our second speaker, Honorable Stans Goudsmit, who is the Ombudsman for Children for Rotterdam in the Netherlands. Her topic is case studies, effective interventions and advocacy efforts, real-life examples of how Ombudsman officers have successfully protected children. But before we get to that, let me just give you a very brief background, also a very impressive profile. She's the local Children's Ombudsman in Rotterdam, Netherlands, appointed by the local council in 2018, and she has just started her second term. Is a human rights lawyer. Protecting children's rights is at the core of her work, and she's a former member of the Netherlands Institute for Human Rights from 2008 to 2017 when she served. She was on the supervisory board of the Defense for Children, ECPAT in the Netherlands from 2017 until 2022. Let's welcome, ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Stans Goudsmit. Over to you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And thank you very much for the invitation to be part of this beautiful webinar. And it feels so good to know we are not alone. If I understand correctly, we are here with 400 people from over the whole world working hard to protect the rights of the child. So I feel very honored to talk to you a little bit more about my work in the city of Rotterdam, the second largest city in the Netherlands. And I will share my presentation. Let's see. Here it is. Yes, let me tell you a little bit about our office. I am a team with the local ombudsman, Marianne van den Anker, who you see here on the picture with me. And we are ombudsman and children ombudsman in the city of Rotterdam, which is the second largest city in Holland and which has around 1 million inhabitants. We have a staff of around 20 people, of which there are around 12 investigators. What we see as our main task is the furthering of good governance and the promoting of human rights, and for me as a children ombudsman, to promote children's rights. And how do we do that? We do that by handling complaints, do projects, do research projects, and, which I find a very important task for me as a children's ombudsman, to promote the rights of the children. Because in my work, I encounter daily that people do not know enough about children's rights. And I'll talk you a little bit through these issues. Yes, the handling of complaints. It was good to hear that in Mauritius they were handling 400 complaints. We are handling 400 complaints as well as a children ombudsman, and in total with the ombudsman we handle 2,000 complaints every year. And every time when we receive a complaint, we make a decision. Are we going to do a thorough investigation, which may last weeks, sometimes months, and then the complainant receives a judgment saying what the local government did was fair or unfair, but the situation is still the same. So in cases, in complaints that we receive as a children ombudsman, we more often choose for action. And action is usually picking up the phone to see why a child doesn't receive what it needs. Because the cases that come to us are usually cases with some extent of emergency. And then doing a thorough investigation, which takes over months, the situation of the child deteriorates. To give you an example, only 2 weeks ago, we received a complaint of a mother with a child who were in a shelter, a local shelter for homeless people, and they received the decision that they had to leave within 2 weeks. We can do an investigation, but that when we finish our investigation, we know one thing for sure, that this mother with her child is living on the streets, and that's something we do not want to be part of. So in this case, what we did, we contacted the local government, explaining that in our vision, ending the shelter for this mother and child was a violation with the rights of the child. Because every child, I don't need to explain to you, has the right to have a safe space to live in. So after around 2 weeks struggling, hassling, fighting for this mother and child, we got a decision from the municipality that this mother and child were getting a small home in Rotterdam. So instead of investigation, we do action, but at the same time, we want these kind of cases not to occur again. So next to the action we do, afterwards, we discuss with local government how to improve the situation of children in homeless shelters. We give them a framework of children's rights that are involved. And after we do so, we have to keep on pushing, keep on challenging them how to promote and defend the rights of children. Most of the complaints that reach us through the parents or through professionals working in youth care or in schools, for example. The children themselves do not so very often reach out to us. And for me as a children's ombudsman, the right of children to voice their opinion is very, very important. So what we do, this is our ambulance. As an ombudsman, we have an ambulance instead of an ambulance. And we go through town, through public spaces, to reach out to people to get to know us as an ombudsman and children ombudsman. And for me as a children ombudsman, I do visit schools and I do visit youth groups to discuss with them what the issues are that they run into. What I see that a lot of children do not know about their rights. So when you do not know about your rights, you do not know that what happens to you if that's in line with your children's rights. So we do a lot of promotion about children's rights with children, but also with parents and professionals. So next to this ambulance, I visit schools, I visit youth care, and we also, in the projects we do, we use polls to reach out to children. Last year, we did a project about the rights of children who are not attending school. And what we found out is that many of them do not receive education. And through this poll, we could ask children about their experience not receiving any education. For me as a children ombudsman, one of the most important rights, of course, next to the right of the children that their interest is a prime consideration, is the right of children to participate, to voice their opinion, and to learn to voice their opinion. And here are two examples of my work. On the left, you see a youth group and members of city council that we brought together, and which is now a regular meeting between youth and city council members, more or less 4 times a year, where youth are able to voice their experiences living in the city of Rotterdam, and for the members of city council to take those experiences with them when they are in the city council to discuss new policies. And it's much appreciated, this meeting, both by the youth and by the city council members. And on the right, you see a girl in the city council. It was a project we did about children with disabilities. And we want to learn the children about their rights, but also about places where they can use their rights. And one of those places is the city council. And I took a couple of those kids with me to the city council when discussing our report and had them voice their opinion about what the city of Rotterdam should do to improve the situation of children with a disability. And this was for the first time children with a disability, after our report, were asked to voice their opinion about the local agenda for inclusion, which every municipality in the Netherlands needs to have according to the UN Treaty on Disability. So, as I said, for me, youth participation is my main issue, which I promote every day, learning children to voice their opinion, but where people have a right, there are other people that have an obligation. So I teach children about their rights, but I also teach professionals about their obligation to fulfill the rights of children. Because it's my experience that with civil servants, for example, but also with members of the city council, they are not aware of the rights of the child. The language they speak, the language of the civil servants, is not the language of the rights of the child. It's not the language of human rights. So we need to put a lot of effort in getting them to know the rights of the child and to realize that what they have to do is not only a nice thing to do to children, to listen to them. No, it is an obligation. They have to listen to children and give them the possibility to voice their opinion and do something with it. And the second thing is, which I put a lot of effort in, giving children a voice is one, but having it done safely with guarantees is another thing. So through City Council, we pushing the municipality to install a framework with guarantees for children, that when the municipality is fulfilling their obligation to listen to children, what they need to do it safely, which means there needs to be a good preparation. Children need to know what their opinion is asked about. I see very often that children are asked to voice their opinion, have no clue what it's about or what it's for, and it's just one time, and they never hear anything again from the municipality. And that's harming children, because the next time when children are asked, they say, sorry, I don't participate anymore. I have no good experiences. I've never heard what they did with my input. So we're working hard to get the municipality to accept guarantees to do the participation of children safely. And thirdly, we do a call to action, because we see with civil servants a reluctance to talk to children. When it's adults, elderly, no reluctance, but with children, we see a reluctance to talk to them, because they tell us when we talk to them, we're afraid, we're raising expectations which we cannot meet.
Honorable Stans, you have 2 minutes.
Yes, so our answer usually is very simple. Be clear at the beginning about the expectations, what you're going to do with their input, but just do it. Get over this threshold of reluctancy, because it's your obligation to hear the voice of the children. And lastly, what we're doing right now, we're setting up the children rights community in the city of Rotterdam, and we're making a series of lessons about children's rights. As you can see here in this picture, these are children's rights lessons from different organizations, UNICEF, Amnesty International. But these lessons are about situations far away from Rotterdam. These lessons are about children in countries far away. And I want lessons for our children about situations they recognize. So they realize, I have these rights. It's not only about poor people, poor children living far away, or children who are in a migration situation. Now, this is about me living in the city of Rotterdam. In Rotterdam, 1 out of 6 children live in poverty. So they need to realize, this is about me, this is about my rights. And we're making these lessons with children and with students of the university. So promoting the rights of children, for me, is of the utmost importance, to learn children about their rights, but also to have knowledge about children's rights with the professionals. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Stans. That's very interesting. In fact, I'm glad to hear your caseload. I see it's similar to the Children's Ombudsperson of Mauritius. Well, talk through overview on case studies and what you are doing practically in Rotterdam to address the challenges in terms of specifically education and awareness campaigns. The question that I wanted to pose, you said that there are some children that do not receive education. They not going to school. Is there a specific reason for that? Are they migrants? What's the issue around that?
Yeah, what we encountered is that there's a big group in Rotterdam, but it's not only a local problem, it's a national problem. because our education system is not a inclusive education system. So children drop out of school because the care they need is not provided for by the school. So these children sit at home, and we found out that in the year 2023-2024, only in the city of Rotterdam, more than 2,000 children were staying at home because the schools did not make adaptations for them to attend the school. And while they were at home, 90% of these children did not receive education. So for me, at this moment, this is a huge task. We did recommendations to the city council, to the community, and now I'm working hard to have these recommendations accepted by the municipality to improve the situation of these children, because it's maddening that so many children in a country as the Netherlands are without education.
Thank you. Maybe just one other matter before we go to our next speaker. The comment you made about 1 in 6 children, living in poverty, that maybe just to talk to that. And also, do you have any powers to remove children if you find that they are living in abusive homes, there's ill treatment, being assaulted, etc.? Do you have any powers to have them removed? Thank you.
Yes, about the first question, 1 out of 6 children in the city of Rotterdam are living in poverty, while in the Netherlands, it's in general, it's 1 out of 12, 13 children that are living in poverty. And poverty I define as that there is not enough money at home to provide on a daily basis in food, in good shelter, in education, and not enough money to participate in general daily life. And I do not have any binding powers. We only have the voice of reason. So I recognize what my colleague from Mauritius explained, that sometimes it's frustrating because we only have the voice of reason. We only have our voice to have the municipality accept our recommendations. And I have no power to withdraw children from an unsafe space. But we do, and that's I think the powerful thing about a local ombudsman and children ombudsman. We have a big network in our town with all kinds of organizations, but also with the judiciary, with the court. So they are able to withdraw children from such situations, but I do not.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Honorable Stens. It is now my privilege to introduce our third and final speaker for this webinar, my colleague, Honorable Christina Nomdu, who is the Western Cape Commissioner for Children in South Africa. Her topic is collaboration between Children's Ombudsman Office, government, NGOs, and international organizations in promoting children's rights. Just a little bit about her. She was appointed on the 1st of June 2020, which means, unfortunately, her contract will be coming to an end very shortly. Her mandate is to promote and protect the rights, needs, and interests of children in the province. And as the Commissioner, she exercised oversight through the Department of Education, Health, Social Development, as well as Cultural Affairs and Sport. She has worked professionally for over 30 years on issues affecting children's rights. She holds a master's degree from the University of Cape Town, and she's passionate about children's participation in governance. Honorable Christina, over to you. Thank you.
Good morning, my neighbor across the hall. Lovely to be with all of you this morning in South Africa, of course. Greetings to all in different spaces of the world. I'm going to share with you our case study, and I'll be a little bit naughty. I'm going to focus on our child participation models. And I would ask General Reddy just to give me a 5-minute warning, because I want to use the last 2 minutes to play a video, an animation video. So let me first share the PowerPoint.
Sure.
Can you see the PowerPoint?
Yes, we can see it. Thank you. You can proceed.
Fantastic. So as General Reddy said, we are a relatively new institution. So we're only 5 years old, and we are only I would hazard to say, the second children's ombudsperson in the continent of Africa. Anita and her predecessor, whom I've also met in Mauritius, is acknowledged as the first ever children's ombudsperson in Africa. And so our organization is only 5 years old, and you know, in the first term, you are beset with a lot of setting up of the institution. And so I can say that, you know, everything that is happening in the office first existed as a figment of my imagination. And so I try to bring things across on the level of the child, because I really believe in working in partnership with children. So when they gave me the law that governs my office, we have a clause in the constitution of the province. So compared to Honorable Anita, who's national, and Honorable Stans, who's local, I'm provincial. So we have 9 provinces in South Africa. So it's one of the provinces where I'm the children's ombud. But I am the first children's ombud in the history of the country. So none exists on national, nor in any of the other provinces. We would need to amend constitutions for that to take effect. So I took my mandate and I decided I needed to create a children's story of my mandate, because it's very difficult for children to understand what is the power of a children's commissioner. And I also like to grab children's attention. So I go out into the communities looking like a superhero. That's a picture of me, and I frequently wear my tights and my t-shirt, and I also have a cape, which I'm not wearing today, but for the children, I always wear the cape. So we monitor, investigate, research, educate, lobby. And unfortunately, as General Reddy has pointed out, you know, we don't have binding powers. Our strongest powers is our recommendation and advice. And so in that way, we try to make the system of government work for children. And even in our investigations, we have at the start now, in this first 5 years, only about 100 cases per year, but we try to get the government to solve those cases. So we truly operate as an oversight mechanism over them. So when people make a complaint, we refer it back into government, and government is then forced to address the matter and provide us a report of how they've productively and successfully changed that situation for the child. Also, we have the most lovely mandate power is to engage with children. And so you will see in other slides that we engage children from the very beginning. I'm going to talk to you about 2 of our models. One is the Child Government Monitors model and the Community Child Rights Workshops model. So we have, since the first day in office, since the 1st of June 2020, I was joined by 3 children in the office. I will introduce you to one of them on the next slide. And it was very important for me to give effect to my commitment to child participation. I think that I wanted to build an institution with children. And so they are not only advisors, the advisors forum of this Child Government Monitors meets with me weekly on a Monday on WhatsApp, because we are spread throughout the province. And so many rural children also join. And they give me advice in a business meeting for 1 hour. So whatever's going on institutionally, I share with them. I get their input. Sometimes they make a final decision. Sometimes I make a final decision about the way forward, the plan of action for the office. And so they really help me to give effect to my powers and duties, especially to get children to understand that they are rights holders, they are subject of rights, and they are active governance role players. I want them to believe in themselves and their ability to make their voices count. So the methods of recruitment for these children is that they can self-nominate. Children's organizations can nominate them. They can be elected during a workshop. They must be under 18, and we have a very, very strict safeguarding and empowerment protocol. And so consent is received both from their parents, and assent is given from them to belong to this forum, and they leave when they want to. So some of them have actually been part of the forum for the entire 5 years of office. Even after they turn 18, they remain as mentors to others. So the boy,
My name is
girl in
Chelsea
the
Botha,
corner that you
a matriculant at Elsterdam High School.
Um,
How did I become the first children's government monitor? Well, as the chairperson of the RCL, I asked our RCL to write letters as to why they feel we should not be returning to school during the pandemic, and posted on any social media platform. Not long after, Christina then contacted me about getting our message onto the radio, and yes, I guess that is how it all started.
So the boy at the bottom, he was born with cerebral palsy, and he was actually the first international ambassador for the office. He went to the Universal Periodic Review in Geneva, and there he went to ask them to put pressure on the South African government to have a National Children's Commissioner, and for children to vote at 16, because children are not seen as citizens until they have vote, and then the politicians listen to what they have to say. But we do try to have children actively participate in governance by getting them to self-advocate. I've spoken about the advisory council. And the other group, so we have about maybe 60 to 70 children who meet with me for 2 hours every Wednesday. And we have a session similar to the Rotterdam Children's Commissioner. I share what I know about children's rights and governance and how to make their voices count. And they share with me their lived realities of children in the areas where they live. And this is how they're able to make submissions to government. So they make submissions in a very child-friendly way. So this poster that you see here is their submission to a revision of the Children's Act. And this is what they wanted reformed in the Children's Act. We have already made submissions to the African African Committee, to the UNCRC. We make submissions regularly to our national parliament, to our provincial parliament. And one of the most exciting submissions that we have done in the past 3 years is that we engage on provincial budgets. So I've spoken about the fact that we have created everything in this office, from the logo to the hashtag, which is the mission statement, to the children on the posters being brand ambassadors. They are real children in my office. I don't work with stock images. And they are the first official audience for our reports. So I would say that I want to speak about the final point there is about the Cool Kids Guide to the Budget. So children learned with me how to analyze the budget, how to read the budget, how to evaluate the budget for how it delivers on child rights, especially children's socioeconomic rights. And then a 14-year-old went to National Parliament and said to them, you know, we have to read this thick doorstopper of a book. Can you please make the budget accessible to children? And together, the National Treasury Department and our children developed the Cool Kids Guide to the Budget. On Thursday, we will again be in our provincial government and we will create a child-friendly version of the provincial budget that's coming up. So we've learned many lessons that we can work on online platforms, that children want to have fun. But as the commissioner from Rotterdam said, mostly my hardest work is with adults to prepare them for children's participation and children's rights. The community child rights workshops is where I go around to each community, especially in the rural areas, and I talk to adults, especially parents and children, about their rights. We have a set workshop. We talk about a community safety map. Children draw a community safety map. They share their dreams and worries with me so that I can understand the lived reality of children. And they also then make posters for recommendations to government. And these posters are, you know, we go around to all the districts in the province and we do the workshops, we write the reports, then we provide the report to the government and they must respond to the commissioner. So they respond to what the children are recommending and we take this feedback back to the children. So we've completed about 6 of these reports in the 5 years. That's an example of a report. And you know, they share their concerns with government. And also this is the first kinds of illustration where we provide primary data directly from children to government. In our government, this is very difficult to do because, as I said, adult platforms are not always prepared to listen to children. But we have many success stories. One of them is Ruan, who joined me in 2020 during the pandemic. Here you can see on the top, he's in his community. And since then, Ruan has presented at, this is National Parliament, but he's also presented at the African Union, at the United Nations, and he speaks especially about the plight of rural children. Ruan is still a child. He joined me at 12. He's now 17. And he will have a 5-year service award conferred soon. We've learned lots of lessons.
Honorable Christine, you have 5 minutes.
Thank you very much. Engaging directly with the adult community and stakeholders and almost building that bridge between adults and children inside their community for respecting children's rights. And to provide children's opportunities to speak with governance actors and to influence governance. They write formal submissions sometimes, and sometimes they do you know, oral submissions in Parliament. Sometimes they even call, like we have spoken directly with the Minister of Finance in our office, and children have told her what they want to see in the budget, how they want to see the budget shape up for children. We will do that again. I'm going to stop sharing this one, and then I'm going to play out a video that we've created so that children understand the mandate of the office. And these are children who write the storyline with me and children who are in my office who talk. Their voices are part of that animation. So I'll stop this one and I'll share the other. And please give me a thumbs up when you can hear the sound, because I'm quite nervous that the sound doesn't work.
Away, you look excited. What's up?
I really am, bruh.
Oh, did you guys also watch a movie like we did yesterday during free period?
Nope, we heard about the
The
commissioner.
video is not shared.
You know about
You
her?
can only hear the sound.
Who's that?
The Western Cape Commissioner for Children. She protects children's rights.
Oh, but doesn't the law already protect our rights?
The law gives our rights, but the Children's Commissioner makes people do what the law says.
So, like a watchdog.
Exactly. She gathers information from children to help the government understand us better. She wants to know our dreams, our worries, and wants us to share our opinions and our views.
Oh, have we always had a children's commissioner?
No, she's most the first one. She gets her powers and duties from the provincial constitution and a special law. The Department of Education, Social Development, Health and Wellness, and Cultural Affairs and Sport are all her focus areas. She also needs to pay attention to all organizations working with children.
Sounds hectic. How does she do all that?
She makes sure that laws and the way government works is best for us. She advises the government and other organizations to work better for children. She must help everyone to realize children's rights.
And how does she do that?
Children advise her on how to do her work and help her monitor the government.
Really? Yo, how does she talk to children?
On WhatsApp. Every week, children have a special session with her on a WhatsApp group chat, even during COVID. She calls these children child government monitors. And now, she meets children at workshops in their communities.
Can I reach out to her?
Yes, on all the major social media, like even TikTok. Just search for the Western Cape Commissioner for Children.
So what exactly can the Children's Commissioner do for me?
You can complain about the government departments she focuses on. You can join her team of child government monitors. You can also send her your story on how children live in your community.
And then what happens?
She will ask the departments she focuses on to work on your complaint.
What will she do with all the information about how children live in communities and schools?
She'll use it to show the government and organizations how to serve children better.
I definitely did not know we had a Children's Commissioner. Glad I learned about this today. There's the ball. Let's go.
I'm sorry, I realize I only played the video from the middle of it, but you can definitely find it on our website. It will be there. And also on all our major platforms.
Sorry, Christina, with the permission of the facilitator,
Yes.
the participants are asking that you start the video again. If
Shall
the
I share the
facilitator will
video
allow
with
that.
Okay, yes, all good.
Yes.
All good. Let's play it again.
Sure.
Okay. Just tell me when it's working.
Yes, it's working. Thank you.
Away, you look excited. What's up?
I really am, bruh.
Oh, did you guys also watch a movie like we did yesterday during free period?
Nope, we heard about the commissioner, the Children's Commissioner. You know about her?
Huh? Who's that?
The Western Cape Commissioner for Children. She protects children's rights.
Oh, but doesn't the law already protect our rights?
The law gives our rights, but the Children's Commissioner makes people do what the law says.
So, like a watchdog.
Exactly. She gathers information from children to help the government understand us better. She wants to know our dreams, our worries, and wants us to share our opinions and our views.
Oh, have we always had a Children's Commissioner?
No, she's most the first one. She gets her powers and duties from the provincial constitution and a special law. The Department of Education, Social Development, Health and Wellness, and Cultural Affairs and Sport are all her focus areas. She also needs to pay attention to all organizations working with children.
Sounds hectic. How does she do all that?
She makes sure that laws and the way government works is best for us. She advises the government and other organizations to work better for children. She must help everyone to realize children's rights.
And how does she do that?
Children advise her on how to do her work and help her monitor the government.
Really? Yo, how does she talk to children?
On WhatsApp. Every week, children have a special session with her on a WhatsApp group chat, even during COVID. She calls these children child government monitors. And now, she meets children at workshops in their communities.
Can I reach out to her?
Yes, on all the major social media, like even TikTok. Just search for the Western Cape Commissioner for Children.
So what exactly can the Children's Commissioner do for me?
You can complain about the government departments she focuses on. You can join her team of child government monitors. You can also send her your story on how children live in your community.
And then what happens?
She will ask the departments she focuses on to work on your complaint.
What will she do with all the information about how children live in communities and schools?
She'll use it to show the government and organizations how to serve children better.
I definitely did not know we had a Children's Commissioner. Glad I learned about this today. There's the ball. Let's go.
Thank you for that indulgence. I'm sorry the IT skills were not up to par. My staff will chastise me. So that's our story, and I was just hoping to share with you some of the practicalities around how we make child participation rights real within our office. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Christina. That was an excellent initiative from your office. Thank you for sharing with us your two models, and you can see your focus is on proactive and preventative measures through outreach, education, and awareness. And glad that you submit your reports through to the government. What I just wanted to check, I know that time has really run us out, but do you have powers? Because I heard you say that the government must respond. So do you have directive powers in terms of the reports that you submit?
Well, it's more of accountability powers. So if I talk with the government department, if I submit a recommendation, yes, in our law, there is a clause that says that they need to respond to me within a specified time. And so they have to answer the questions that they ask them. So they can't dodge me, but I can't make them do what I want them to do. So, you know, sometimes when there are protection issues or issues for investigation, we do sometimes reach an impasse in terms of when they believe they've done the best they can, and I believe they can do better. And so I give them that feedback to say, you know, perhaps you could have done more, or you can do more for this child, for this family. Please, may you reconsider your efforts. I think that's the extent of our powers.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Christina. Much appreciated. We have now a very limited time, and I would like to go to the Q&A session, where we at least try and tackle a question from those that were sent through to us. And if we have time, we'll look at one of the online questions that was also posed. I think this question that I want to ask to all three of our panelists, it seems quite rife in South Africa. I'm not sure about the rest of the world, but this question relates to bullying in schools. So the person says, how can bullying in schools be reported? What steps can be taken to educate children and eradicate bullying in schools? Is this a common problem around the world, or is it South Africa specific? But comment from each of our panelists on that.
Shall I start?
Yes, Honorable Stan.
I'm afraid bullying is everywhere. It's also in our schools, it's on the streets in the Netherlands. And for me, the right of the child to be protected against discrimination plays a big role here. The schools in the Netherlands need to have a protocol to install mechanisms to prevent bullying. So that's there, but the reality is unfortunately different. When we did our research project last year about children that are not attending school because school did not do enough to provide the proper care, we also spoke to children that sat at home because they were bullied and they didn't feel safe enough to return to school. And what we try to do is address the issue with the schools and with the municipality, because in the end, the public administration has the task to fulfill the rights of the children, to protect the children. And we addressed the schools that they should step up their efforts to prevent bullying in school. And like the former speaker, we do not have any power, but we will keep on pressing the government, pressing the schools to do more to step up their efforts.
Thank you for that.
Can I come in? Can I come in now, please?
Yes, Honorable Anita.
Yeah, thank you. So rightly pointed out, bullying and harassment has become an international problem, and it is gaining momentum a lot. I was in the education sector, and I can tell you that I always say it like this: all the problems which existed in the secondary schools have reached the primary schools now. This means that bullying is started even at an early age. We do have in Mauritius like anti-bullying policies in schools, sensitization programs being carried out. We even have social and emotional well-being lessons. We have national educational counseling, etc. But in spite of it all, bullying is gaining momentum, as I said. And the sad thing is that cyberbullying is coming in as well. And I was talking earlier to you about a secondary school student who went up to commit suicide. And all this was because of some type of bullying, not necessarily in the school, but online. So the sad thing about bullying also is that when it is cyberbullying, it follows you at home. As soon as you're online, it can follow you. It follows you everywhere. And just now we are having in the Easter vacations a big, in French you call it assise de l'éducation. So all the stakeholders, I feel that the community should be involved. A whole school approach plus community plus Ministry of Education plus heads of school, educators, students themselves, the voice of children should be heard there. Try to lessen the bullying and its impact, because some kids get real. Madame just said, my colleague just said, some of them even don't want to go back to that school or go back to school at all. So where are we going? And this is a big question mark. All of us are concerned. And always when I meet parents or when I meet educators, and I try to at least tell them, you know, in Mauritius, we move a lot towards a society. When we were kids and now it's very different. So what is the parental role? And are parents prepared? Are they teaching the values to their kids? And then why are the perpetrators and the victims, why are the perpetrators acting like that? Surely they have some emotional problem at home. So we are doing a lot, but it's still on the rise. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Christina.
I think I will just add to say that, you know, since the start of my office in 2020, while we were even in the pandemic, children spoke a lot about well-being, their mental health. And, you know, aside from the physical effects of bullying, mental health concerns around, you know, if it's a child to child, so then we would consider both those children to be in need of care, because there are concerns about the child who is bullying another child and the effect of it on the receiving child. So I think that as both commissioners have said, much more needs to be done in the home, in schools, in the society, to make sure that we live with this notion of mutual respect for each other, and not the type of hate speech that we see even amongst adults on social media these days. We are not being very good role models to our children. I must say, where are they learning this bullying from? It's from us.
Thank you, Honorable Christina. I want to go online just for one question. I see it's directed to Honorable Stans. It says, does your work overlap or duplicate other state child protection agencies?
It's good to explain maybe a little bit how it's organized in the Dutch system. We have a national ombudsman and children ombudsman. And in certain municipalities, we have a local ombudsman and children ombudsman. So the national ombudsman is there for supervising the national institutes and being a local ombudsman for those municipalities who did not organize it locally. So I'm appointed by the City Council for the municipality of Rotterdam. And there are 6 other local children ombudsmen, and the rest is covered by the national ombudsman. I don't, you're
Yeah.
Thank you for that, Honorable Stans. The time has really run us out. So what I would like to do is give each of our panelists, let's say, a minute and a half for a high-level takeaway that can benefit each of our participants in this webinar. Honorable Stan, since we started, since you were the last speaker, maybe you can continue.
Wow. That's quite a question for such an audience. But I would say 2 things. In all we do, we have to incorporate the children themselves. It's their voice, it's their lives. We're just passerby, and they know best what needs to be done to improve their situation, and it's their right. The other thing is we have to be brave and we have to be persistent, because not all children are trained to voice their opinions. We need to help them. And if they're not able, we need to be brave enough and step up and voice their opinions for them. Those 2 things I would really like you to take home and start doing as of today.
Thank you. Honorable Anita.
Yeah, thank you. Maybe it will overlap a little with my colleague over there, but it doesn't matter. So as my colleague said, the voice of the child has to be heard. It is for the child, by the child. Okay? And then we talk a lot about inclusion. We should put a question mark. Is there real inclusion in everyday life, in all aspects of life, in education, in distribution of wealth, whatever, okay, in services, etc., especially for the vulnerable children coming from vulnerable backgrounds. And what we all agree to, that is the best interest of the child. I know that this is very like a subjective matter, maybe what best interest of what we think may not be the best of interest of another organization or the ministry or whatever. But we should advocate in all the cases such that it is the child at the center, child-centered, and we advocate around the child so that when solutions are found, it is in the best interest of the child. Thank you.
Honorable Christina.
I think I will just reiterate the vision and the mission of our office. And, I spoke with the first ever Children's Commissioner in India, and together we agreed that we really need to reimagine childhoods. We cannot be satisfied with the state of childhoods anywhere in the world at the moment. And so all of us need to think about childhoods differently, especially the adults who have the duty to promote and protect children's rights. And then we also say that children are also capable, not only cute. So they can be very technically astute, and in some ways, in terms of maybe the IT world and world digitally, they are more astute than us dinosaurs as adults. And so we need to harness that power that they have to think about the future of our societies. So I will end by saying little voices must count.
Thank you so much to this distinguished honorable panel. Thank you for your inputs. I think it was very insightful. A special word of appreciation to you for the wonderful work that you do and continue to do. And best wishes to Christina in her new endeavors as she finishes her term. So the time has gone. I just want to highlight that all questions that have been posed will be answered and it will be sent to the panelists. They will provide answers, and those answers will be circulated by the AORC team. The time has really run us out, so let me stop there and hand over immediately to Marion, who will do the closing and a vote of thanks.
Honorable Ombudsman and esteemed speakers, distinguished guests and participants, good morning. It is an honor to extend a heartfelt vote of thanks on behalf of the African Ombudsman Research Center. We truly appreciate the 414 registered participants from 62 countries across 5 continents, Africa, Asia, Europe, Oceania, North America, and the Caribbean, reflecting a diverse and global interest in AORC's training and webinars. First and foremost, I would express our most profound appreciation to our valued speakers, Honorable Anita Gura, Ombudsman for Children in Mauritius, for her insightful presentation on the role and mandate of the Mauritius Children's Ombudsman Office in advocating for children's rights. Honorable Stans Goldsmith, Ombudsman for Children in Rotterdam, for showcasing effective interventions and advocacy efforts. Honorable Christina Nomdu, I know she said she's just Christina, but I also have to give you that respect here. She's the Western Cape Commissioner for Children. We thank her for her illuminating discussion on collaboration between her office, children, government, NGOs, and international organizations. I just want to highlight one of the comments from one of the participants who says that they love the interaction that you have with children. Your expertise and experiences have provided us with invaluable insights into the essential roles that these offices play in safeguarding children's rights. A special thank you to our facilitator, Honorable Major General Oswald D. Reddy, the Western Cape Police Ombudsman, for his excellent moderation of the session, ensuring a smooth and engaging discussion. To all our attendees, your participation and engagement are deeply appreciated. I must admit that this is the most questions that we've ever had for our over 30 webinars that we've had to date. So we will be sharing them on the website with all the other relevant information for this particular webinar. A special word of appreciation to UKZN Corporate Relations, whose unwavering support enables us to host impactful events like this. In particular, we'd like to extend our heartfelt thanks to Mrs. Hazel Langa, who continuously accommodates the AORC team with warmth and professionalism. We encourage everyone to visit the AOMA-AORC website to access and also share recordings of previous webinars and other resources. You will receive links to today's webinar recording and other relevant documents in the coming week. As we conclude, let us remember that protecting children's rights is a shared responsibility. We hope today's insights inspire ongoing collaboration, advocacy, and action to create a better future for children. With that, we thank you once again for joining us today. May we continue to work together to champion children's rights and strengthen ombudsman institutions across Africa and beyond. We appreciate your participation and look forward to future discussions on ombudsman-related matters. Have a blessed day further. Thank you very much, everyone. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Thank you
Bye.
so much.
Thank
we appreciate
you.
you. Bye.
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 Thanks a lot. Really pleasure to meet you all.
Thank
Pleasure.
you. Bye for now.
Yeah,
And there are opportunities to further share our work. It's really nice.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. Thanks. We will share the contact information between you all. Christina has asked for contact information, so we'll try and share the contact information of the other offices. Thank you.
Very good.
Lovely to see you, Honorable Anita.
Hi, Jack.
Goodbye. Thank you
It's
so
good
much.
if you meet before you leave.
Okay. Let's do it. Bye-bye.
Bye.